Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I just taped this, and as soon as I said I was finished, and I said every day is Valentine's Day, and I went to pull the Journey of Love card, and everything just this program shut down. So I've had to wait. I had to reboot and bring it up again. So now I'm retaping it again. So hopefully the same messages will come through. But happy Valentine's Day! It is February 14, 2019. And every day is Valentine's Day. And I wanted to say hi to T because we met on Valentine's Day. She's one of my twin friends. And it's our anniversary today. So the 14 is the Temperance card. It's all about the angels today. The day adds up to 28, which is the Two of Wands or the Two of Flames, the Twin Flames. So it's very much about the angels and their love today. When I went into my inner child and my masculine's inner child today, I have two beds, like she can be on her side, he can be on his side, and then there's two beds in the middle. They're little kids, you know, so they can come in the middle if they want. So she was on her side reading today, and he was on his side just for a second. Then all of a sudden he's in the middle jumping up and down like crazy trying to get her attention, the middle beds. And she's ignoring him, she's reading him, and I kind of had to nudge him for me and say, you have to move forward. She deserves love too, not just you. So I had to kind of nudge him forward to go to that side of the room. But then as soon as he got on the bed in front of her, she looked up at him and smiled, and then he hugged her. And he was like a little monkey, like holding on to her so tight. It was so cute. But that was a beautiful message for today, okay? And as I was shuffling the cards for the union read, the Chariot fell out, and the Transition and the Ace of Cups were on both undersides of the deck as that happened, but the Chariot fell out. And as I get into the read, it was done at 9:56 to 57 today. 56 and 57 are the 2 and 3 of Swords. 2 of Swords for me is being in your knowing, and then the 3 of Swords is, of course, no one makes out in a three-party situation, right? So the major arcana for the read were Hanging Man, Indigo, Shadow, Hermit, Higher Self, and then the card after the read that I always pull is the Lovers, and the card before the read that I always use in the read is Ascension. So there were 7 major arcana there. 3 Cups, 2 Pentacles, 1 Wand, no Swords energies here, and then the court cards that came up were Page of Wands, Queen of Cups, Knight of Cups, and then the 9 of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups both came up, which for me often are people. The codes and the numbers around the codes were all about relationship change, completion, and synchronicity. And the number codes were 9, 99, which were the major codes coming up here, but also 5, 321, and 59. And 321 is like a blast off, right? And I actually got that in the cards yesterday with the bird about to take off from the tree. So the coding was very special today, okay? The messages here were like off the hook for me. Some personal messages from last year as well came up. The coding, again, is all about relationship change, completion, and synchronicity. Han was in the message, and Han usually only comes up in the masculine read. This is the union read, and doesn't usually come up for the union or the feminine read. So Han came up, as well as the Shadow, 9. And High C came up. So again, recommendation to take plenty of C, vitamin C. But it was about, well, first I got some names. So Ashan, Henry, with an I actually, Henri, Ashy Han, which was kind of funny. It was coming up as Han Solo, but Ashy Han Solo. I think that was supposed to be a joke. And then Ray, and then the Shadow and the Hermit were coming up here, and High C. And then I was getting High C as Kohan, that the twins are the High C, the High Kohans. So then I was getting not only that, but Kohan, not from the High C, but it was from the initial codes with Han, Kohan being the 2 co-pilots, the twin flames, regarding I, which is 1, the shadow collective. Okay, right? When you go within, you connect with the collective consciousness. So we are the shadow in essence because we shadow each other. We all do. And we, as the twin flame community, are shadowing the collective in order to clear all of our wounds. So then the first koan was coming up, okay? Because this was coming up as koan regarding the first ray, ray 1, which is blue ray, El Morya. The blue ray is the ray of power, but it also has other qualities like faith, protection, will, and strength, following through with it. And that was from AscendedMastersOfLight.com. Another message about Kohan was from SummitLighthouse.org, and that was the will of God. And the qualities that came up were courage, certainty, power, forthrightness, self-reliance, dependability, faith, and initiative. And then another site also, AscendedMasterAnswers.com, came up, the first ray, willingness to raise the whole as opposed to only self. But you know, as I do, as twins, we do that through ourselves, through the higher self and the collective consciousness. Also in this site was coming up perversions of it, that of the creative will, the perversion of that is the fear of the unknown through abusive power to control one's circumstances, including controlling other people. Okay, so that was very important coming up here. Also that Koan is Tibetan. And that was funny because monks came up yesterday when I was talking to my friend. And then also it means Lord of Dharma. But also what I was getting, the gist of it was that Koan really is about being one's own master, not about the master of all masters, but you are your own master. Lords of meditation. As the Kohans, the Han Solos of the first ray, the blue rays, or the Shadow 9, these are the twins, the high Kohans. Okay? So, this isn't all of it, though. The read is really amazing today, the messages that were coming through. And also, some messages I'd gotten last year came through again, and I'll get into that when I get to that part of the read. But the hanging man starts out the underlying energy, right, with that right knee block again. So the hanging man with right knee block soreness, lack of affection from vacillating about coming together to co-create. One who stands in their truth without love is not in their truth, and thus is seen as the 5 of Swords, or brain wars, the one that's at war with themselves, or the 9 of Swords reverse, which is perpetual pain cycles. When your 9 of Swords reverse right now is coming up for me as a perpetual pain cycle, because you're not at the 10, so you're not done yet, and you're reversed, so you're over that pain, but it's like the purge cycles where you keep going back into it. And then I was getting never reaching the end. Letters are written, never meaning to send, right? 'Cause I love you, oh I love you. Alright, so that was coming up from Knights in White Satin. And then Ascension of the Hanged Man, which is Jesus. Do not mourn my death, but celebrate my life. And then my friend Vashti came up. So my friend Vashti passed away. She was dying of cancer. And when I asked her as a Hindu, what do you believe in? She simply said, we believe in grieving our dead. Through obligation, she had been keeping herself in sadness for her mother who had passed away many years ago. I say this in honor of her beautiful family and 2 daughters, who I've had the honor to know. Feeling the love of the Hindu family when the daughter kisses her loving father's feet. Circle of roses over her casket by each at her service. There's so much love and kindness there. To be in truth is not enough. The King of Swords reverse must love himself first. Jesus on the cross. There is no need for sacrifice, only love. An opportunity out openly to show your children about a marriage of love as opposed to one of convenience. As the King of Swords, who holds anger still, and thus cannot be loved, his armor that he uses blocks it from the world. Staying married for the children, you teach them by example to sacrifice and not to love. The 4D bridge to somewhere over the rainbow is not a race, for each goes at their own pace with their own keys and codes and variations of feet and length of toes. To kiss another's feet with love is to humble oneself, whereas to be forced to kiss a man of power's feet is to not love oneself, because you reflect their intent to abuse you. You can still love them without hurting yourself in the process. In other words, don't allow the bully to keep bullying you if you can help it. But if he is beaten and you have the opportunity to help, you would, out of an unconditional love. Our kids show us this all the time. My son did. And when he was, some kids were blocking him from getting into his assigned seat on the bus. And then on top of that, after getting knocked out on the bus, which you know how those metal seats are, you know, you can kill someone. He got punished again for climbing over the seat because these kids wouldn't let him get into his assigned seat. And I literally had to intervene to block that. But the point is that a lot of adults were telling my son at the time, you know, jokingly, oh, just next time, you know, get a roll of quarters and keep it in your hand, you know. And my son refused to be that. He's never been that. He's such a loving soul. And he actually ended up in somewhat of a friendship with this person by high school. So our kids show us these examples all the time. We lead by example, not eye for an eye. They can only hurt you if you let them. If you let them hold all the aces. And then I was getting Texas Hold'em. 8 by 8 equals 16. The tower moment in a race to cross the 4D bridge, you will trip on the dead murkiness. The establishment trying to keep their head above water. It's better to plant flowers in a garden for spring. Masculine and feminine, green and pink. Giving money to the church will not absolve you of your sins. You are not sin, you are expansion. Lack of satisfaction or arrogance at play in not expressing one's feelings after truth comes out, recovering practically by going back to the old that wasn't working in the first place, instead of going forward into the new, the truth. Don't be afraid to humble yourself. You will be loved. If you go back, you will be controlled by someone else's idea of truth. You will not win, and your feelings will be suppressed once again, not permitted expression of self. This could be the one came up as underlying energy at 1101, and it's just 1212. You deserve love was beneath that. Okay, so for the union, you deserve love, and then above that, this could be the one. Putting it all out there to burn the past. Make peace with your karmic, especially divine masculines, so you can have your new life. If wrong, say you were wrong. Your little lizards, if spying, will see examples of true love and report that back to your karmic, and that is a way of showing example. A rose is a rose is a rose is a rose. There are always thorns attached. And the rose has been coming up big time, like 6 times already in the last 2 days. So why give a false rose to your karmic for Valentine's Day? He or she may not deserve your affections, but they always deserve the loving truth. Instead, hug her and tell her the truth of your love. Spiritual career comes up here. It's very significant, and underneath that was pride. So pride's definitely coming up here, is, you know, needing to humble ourselves. Also, 3 sets of 2 aces came up in this read. That never happens, okay? One was Ace of Wands and Ace of Pentacles together in the Tarot Sexual Magic bunch. And then there were 2 times the Ace of Wands and Ace of Cups, both the same, okay, in 2 different places. So justice is out and moving to peace. Loss of job, money, status, attention, success, paying out to find peace and balance. No matter your culture or background, peace is peace and love is love. And this was at 1111. And then I was guided to the flags in the card to look up the UK. So the countries in the UK are England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. But that really wasn't the point. At 1122, I then realized, oh my God, not only is high C, high vitamin C, and not only is that, and high Cohan as the twins, but there was a third message here. So what I wanted to bring up was last year I was guided in a message, very strong to me, and it wasn't just once, it was multiple times I was being pushed to try to get together some people in a group to get over some of their issues with each other. It wasn't about forming a group, and it wasn't about being better than anyone else. It was about people who said bad things about each other to come together, and it was just 1444, to come together and resolve their issues, to make peace and be an example for others of love. But when I put this out to the people that were involved, half of them were fine with it, but the other half that really needed to be participants in this were not. Because they, of course they were saying my guidance wasn't real and blah, 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 which was fine, because you never know what's going to happen down the road and why things happen for a reason. And of course, the people who wouldn't be involved with coming together with the group just to talk were triggered by the situation, and thus triggered me back, right? When people walked away from me, even a friend who was my twin who walked away in this situation because of her own background and template, which was all fine because it was meant to happen that way. And you know that if you're a twin, that we all trigger each other because we come in as friends, and then there are times where we need to have space again, which is fine because it's just like your twin connection. And we're supposed to go through that. But what came up again here, there was a place that came up at that time in my messages that was very profound. And I don't want to bring up all the details about that, and I don't want to make this video too long about that either. But when I realized with the flags, I was all of a sudden brought back to that time where Albania came up. And so I looked at the flag, but the flag had nothing to do with the colors in the cards. It wasn't about the flag of Albania. It was about the place I was guided back to, which was Haimar in Albania. Haimar. High sea. Okay, Mar means sea. So here was a third message for high sea in this message today. And that was very majorly significant for me. So then I was guided to call my twin friend who totally got what I was getting at that time and would get what I had to say about this. And then that was it. So the message came through at 11:11, and 11:22 I ended up calling her, not on purpose, to talk about it. And that finished at 11:42, but it was and then 42, of course, is the Two of Cups. And then all of a sudden I was getting guided to what I needed to do from here at 11:44. So the master numbers kept coming up. It was 44, 1744. So, in continuing with the read, payout to recover. There's a payout to recover the masculine's anger, that anger block, for a new life in spiritual career, that this could be the one. And the one was being emphasized here, coming from my read yesterday, where I believe it was the feminine just needs love and the masculine just needs the one. There was something like that that I brought up yesterday. But recently in this read for the union, the hermit needs courage to drop burdens, offer new life, move forward with humble work, which is the Knight of Pentacles. He's the workhorse. He's very humble. Humble servant of God, okay? Or a practical offer. So the hermit needs courage to drop burdens, offer new life, and move forward with work or practical offer. The foundation came up here is about the 6 rays of light. But the Empress was reversed on this as the feminine in lack, and the Hierophant reversed as the masculine in lack. Or alternative. Maybe he's not supposed to be alternative, thinking outside the box. Because then the Devil came up with the 6 of Wands reverse, which the dark side of this, which also could be Taurus reversed and Capricorn upright, the dark side of the masculine attention, whether it's the masculine in the divine feminine or the divine masculine, is success and attention, if it's not with the right intent. The Empress in lack, Hierophant in separation, chained to the need for success and attention. The shadow side of unhappiness, instead of satisfaction on your own as you're connected with your higher self. And then Twisted Sister came up, and Twisted Religion, or a religious leader potentially, of dark, and this was at 12:21, of the dark needing attention. So there's somebody maybe in your environment, Twisted Sister or some kind of twisted religious leader or religion, where someone is always needing attention, and so it's giving you a message of like a clue of who this person is actually dark. Or someone aborted or miscarried to get attention, and that could be, what's it called? Also, you know, where people, I'm just blanking out on the word, you know, hurt themselves or hurt people around them to get attention. So that's coming up. The devil is in lack of spirituality, thinking outside the box and just needing success and attention, and that is not about love and giving to others and self. Centrally, the energy was coming up all about the indigo, which could be the indigo child or the adult magician. Exposing, holding on in clinginess, offering love to a disconnection that wasn't working. Not seeing eye to eye, but wanting peace and confession. And confession came up here again, which also took back to a year ago where confession came up, but confession isn't about confession of sins, it's about confession of love. It's always about love. The challenge being the shadow, working all the time. Sudden events, trauma, epiphanies of foolish actions of the emperor reversed, who's either out of control or out of ego. And it's 2112, okay? So the emperor needs to get out of control, right? Because his issue is control, in order to lose ego and humble himself. So in order to humble the masculine, some of them lose things. They lose money, they lose their relationships, things that they may have taken for granted. The Queen of Swords talks about it, so just about like what I'm doing, but everyone does it in their own form, okay? Even if it's just at home to your family. Peace through confessions of sweets and tweets and gates that are open. Romantic tie with flame, worried about rejection for having kept her quiet at the workplace or creative place or church or school or whatever. Now the higher self, standing up for self to attacks by King of Cups reversed, who may be manipulative and or emotionally detached, with low vibration, feeling rejected or extremely shy in a sudden event or epiphany of loss of money, paying off debts, and those kind of situations. So the masculine being brought down in order to be humbled. The Queen of Wands reversed is coming up here as tired of it and just wanting peace to move away. So the karmic could be the one who actually moves away. The higher self, in knowing of their calling, announces to others about the dark energies of the lower chakras at night, especially if drinking. Okay, so the right elbow pain is also coming up as inflamed because it's in your DNA, it's in your muscle DNA of showing off. So here are other templates and wounds to clear. Okay, needing to show off by building big muscles, right? That's a way of showing off. Passion will be rejected. Needing to balance addictions, depression, control, vows of silence and connection. Even the fantasy mirror, remote viewing, should you actually be there. Surprise, shocking, nightmare, and jealousies. And you know that jealousies are in all of our templates. There's always a moment where someone feels jealous of something. These are all things that are coming up, especially for the masculines to clear right now, which is going to be the masculine within the feminine also. So soon, and here is 1238, which is the Queen of Cups, the Nine of Crystals, which is the sovereign energy, the independent one, not in their power. When they're up nights, they become unstable, causing injustice because you lack balance and truth. When you haven't slept and you don't feel well, and then you have to go out into the world. Present working on an offer for the masculine, maybe awakening or an idea of exposure to high energy of co-creation. Maybe they have a light bulb moment. Or maybe just awakening fully and realizing what's going on with the high energy and the low energy situation. Making sure to sleep and stay grounded and sovereign at all times. The union is the Page of Wands or the Page of Flames. It's the masked boy with the passion, that flame inside that hasn't been expressed. Manifests conflict, a quest to get past a huge block, which could be no driving or no car, or a big hurdle. Someone's license may have been revoked, or their car broke down or got in an accident, because they're blocking themselves by holding their passions within. And then, this is when my friend T called me back. I had called her initially, but she called me back all of a sudden because she, in her song shuffle, all of a sudden, my song came up, It's All About Love. So she wanted to tell me that. And it was at, again, 1242, which is the Two of Cups. and it was 43 seconds and ended at 12:43, and the 43 is that 3 of Cups, that union, hot third energy. The Page of Wands is inspired from depression to new passionate start and new love. Okay, so in being knocked down off their high horse, in the depression is where they find their inspiration. Wedding card comes up for the union, that marriage is related to this, or there's marriages in this, in this situation, and also let friends help, to let your friends help, especially for the masculines, let your friends help. Around the union, or how it is seen, is the Queen of Cups with a message of love, that Page of Cups, innocent love, turned into betrayal or manifested as back pain. Clear blocks, both the masculine and the feminine, for union, of the Knight of Cups, who has that tidal wave of emotion, right? Who may want to, how many times have you guys wanted to rush in with harsh words to tell your story and be the messenger of truth, but you're holding back your passions and then speaking very little when you're with your twin, like, hello. Or that kids may have something to say about your twin. There may be verbal attacks, or those who want to use you. Let go of all of these preconceived notions. Like, don't think the worst of the situation. Let go of all these things. Relationship change, completion, and synchronicities came up for the union, but even more so, forgiveness and moderation, to stay at 0 point. So even when I was getting these messages today, and then I get excited, so my energy gets too high, you need to temper yourself and bring you back down to 0 point. So that's when a workout at the gym is the perfect timing. So reunion of twins comes up here at the end of the read. Abandonment issues released when the High Priestess and the Hermit come together, and the Divine Masculine sheds light for their twin, or the Hermit to higher self, about secrets. Okay? The Sagittarius female with drinking, depression, and/or jealousy issues may have been a nightmare for the masculine, then in a struggle where the masculine may have been surprised or even shocked of his new passion and his new love for the Queen of Swords, the one he hurt, his twin. The lovers recover, fessing up to each other to end the battle and let go of wounds. Transformation of the Page of Pentacles reversed and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, released from mental prisons, to complete separation of the King of Pentacles reversed, who's a masculine who's lost money and status, or it could just be greed, or ungroundedness. Their loss of money and status, dysfunctional family is now deceptive, or deception of family money that was lost. The Hangman, or the masculine, now awakens to all. The Hangman ascending to 6 rays as the masked boy with inner flame, and Queen of Cups, Hermit indigo with shadow side, Sovereign, and Knight of Cups, higher selves, recovering from feeling left out or abandoned, the lovers when they're not connecting to their higher self. Okay, and like I said, I went into the cards. I pulled all the cards. I was just getting ready to do the Journey of Love, and right as I said that Happy Valentine's Day and that every day should be Valentine's Day, it just cut off right there. So there's definitely dark energies trying to intervene here, trying not to get some messages out. So I'm going to re-pull the cards. They were very good messages, but let's see what comes up this time. Okay. So for Ascension, I think the first time, what was the underlying energy? The, Saint Germain definitely came up, and Orion, I think. It wasn't Orion. All right, take a deep breath, guys. All right. So for this February 14th, 2019 Valentine's Day, when every day should be Valentine's Day, what does everyone watching need to know for the best and highest good of others concerned? What is it we need to know? What is it we need to learn? And I'm going to ask Jesus, Archangel Metatron. Archangel Metatron's retreat came up at the bottom, 28. Okay, and that's the day added up to 28 today. 28 is the Two of Wands, the Twin Flames. And the affirmation is, I'm visiting Metatron's retreat in my sleep tonight. So again, it's reiterating how important it is that you need good rest. 3 cards came out now. Archangel Metatron, Buddha, that was 27. Buddha is 33. And Marco is 47. Polo. Alright, that came up for a reason. So 27 is that Ace of Wands, which definitely came through 3 times in the read, at least. 27. You're blessed to receive this card for the mighty universal angel Metatron, who's coordinating the ascension of the planet, is touching you. He's illuminating your aura with his golden orange light as he works with your stellar gateway chakra. Your message is to relax and allow Metatron's wings to enfold you. Ask to visit him at his ascension retreat in Luxor during meditation or sleep so you can receive his guidance. This may come as a thought, a whisper, or a feeling. When you ask sincerely for help on your ascension journey, Metatron will open new doors for you and guide you. The affirmation is, I attune to Archangel Metatron today. So that's definitely for the masculines. And I wanted to remember the other cards that came through. Yeah, I guess Orion, Saint Germain, Orion came up, Lady Nada, Commander Ashtar, and Jesus came up in the earlier read. It was just 3113. Okay, which that specific reflection keeps coming up, 31 and 13. So it's transformation and expansion. Okay. So Buddha's number 33, which is that Christ vibration. It's also the 7 of Wands, which is standing up for yourself. When you draw this card, Lord Gautama, who became the Buddha, is calling you to live in a state of peace, compassion, enlightenment. You're ready to expand your consciousness to include all that is and to view the world from a higher perspective. You're asked to live in total harmlessness with all things. This creates safety for you, for all creatures will love you and feel safe with you. Your guidance is to remember we are all one and to treat each person, animal, and sentient being as if they are a beloved part of you. The affirmation is, I am one with everyone and everything. Okay, so it's very important, reiterating how important it is to come together. You don't have to be best friends or spend a lot of time with anyone that you don't really resonate with. But it's to live in harmlessness with all other creatures, and at least to be open to try to work things out. It's not about not working things out. It's about walking away from reaction, right? Or aggressiveness, right? So Marco says 47. Master Marco represents the highest galactic confederation of our solar system, the capital of which is on Saturn. And by the way, 47 is the 7 of Cups, right? That's synchronicities and heaven in their eyes, dreams come true. He liaises with Commander Ashtar of the Intergalactic Fleet, so feet are coming up again, to bring us with the wisdom and the knowledge held by the stellar cultures. He also assists Hilarion on the 5th ray of technology, science, and knowledge to enable people to expand their higher mental abilities and develop spiritual technology for the future. Your guidance is to open your mind to communications and connections from the other star systems and universes and ask Marco to assist and protect you. The affirmation is, I'm open to wisdom from the stars. So stay open to the galactic cultures as well. All right, from the past life deck is, let's see here. From this deck, spirituality and religion came up along with, oh, that was so beautiful. I have to show you that. The unicorn, the, I'll show it to you. The 3 cards that are have really pure white color in them came up together. I'll show it to you. Take a deep breath. Maybe something will come up again here today. So for February 14, 2019. All right, Jesus and Mary and Saint Germain and Metatron. For everyone watching, the best and highest good of all who's concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? All right, so the bottom of the deck is Mother, and Mother did come up in the earlier read. Okay, and that was about how so many mothers have been forced to be on their own, because the other card was about wars and battles where the masculines get killed at war. So even if they didn't, they'd be away from the mothers for years at a time, and the mother would have to learn her own spirituality because she was busy raising her children and working, so she didn't have time to do all those other, church-going things. So she had to find out how to be spiritual on her own. So that was part of what was coming up. 4 cards came out here. scribe or writer came up. Okay. Orphan. Ships. Opening the blinds. And lessons and blessings. Okay. Time stands still. Alright. Scribe or writer and orphan. Alright, so number one is bring up the orphan, because we know now that you're never alone. When you feel alone, that's when you need to connect with your higher self. It's your inner child. And to pay attention to your inner child, you know, just focus like what I do as asking my inner child what you need to be loved. What you need to feel love. And then scribe or writer is all about journaling, alright, to let your feelings out. Light a candle. Make a bracelet. Seal your love with a kiss. We also have ships and lessons and blessings, which there's a big contrast here between these, right? One is so fresh and new and clean, like clean, fresh linen, and then the old pocket watch, the old and the new. Don't go back. Take the good from the past that helps you be a better person and love more and expand, and take it into the future of the new ships that are sailing, because the new ship is coming in. It's only a matter of time. Minutes, seconds. Yeah. Because time isn't of the essence anymore. Lessons and blessings. Take your lessons and blessings with you. And take a cruise or a journey. And open the blinds, let the sun in. Okay? Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in. Oh, I want to show you the 3 cards that came out together because they were so beautiful. Maybe they'll be together here. Oh, that came up too at the gym when I was with my trainer today. When you focus on something because you're looking on it for it, you can never see it or find it. We were talking about that. It was a good example of how when you focus on something too much, you block yourself. Let's see where to go. Where are you? There it is. All right, these, I want to show you these 3 because they came out earlier and you had to see this. Beautiful. Okay, look at the purity of that. That came out earlier in the underlying energy. So the Native American shaman also has been guided to that the shaman energy is coming up for the masculine, and then the unicorn of the feminine. And you see that also. It's Valentine's Day. Okay. All right. So earlier, the underlying energy was loving all that is, and I'm just going to read you these 2 because this is what came up earlier. I never got a chance to read it because the video went off. The underlying energy was 22, which is the Fool, taking that leap of faith. The underlying energy. And 2 cards came up for you. 37, Fire and Ice, and 47, Soft. And it's showing us the contrast between these. There's so much contrast in everything. The color and the textures, everything's different. Fire and Ice, allowing all the different textures, the variations of the journey in the life. So I'm going to read you those 2, 37 and 47. 37 is Fire and Ice. You're learning to hold the tension of opposites, of those things that don't immediately seem to go together, with your being, without collapsing into confusion, judgment, or denial. There is passion and serenity, creation and destruction, new life and death emerging within you, within your relationships. Sometimes this is hard to handle. We want to make things simpler, to just let go of the conflict and complexity and choose one or the other. You're a grand enough soul to be able to withstand the rigors of depth, to go deep, to live fully, to let the divine have its way through you requires the willingness to stand at the center of the pairs of opposites, 0 point, and eventually know that they are connected to each other, that they exist only in relationship to each other, to breathe and simply be. If you are consciously feeling the conflict in your life, internally or externally, then you're being initiated through fire and ice. Stay present, be patient, and wait. There is nothing to fix here, just awareness to step into as divine creation continues to unfold through you. As you master this initiation, you will find a sweet nectar of bliss dripping within. This oracle brings you guidance. The conflict you feel within or externally is a sign of your spiritual growth. Soon you will grow larger than the conflict, but for now, you do not need to engage in it. Simply to be present to it and allow it to work its way through you until you are strong enough to have outgrown the conflict, giving rise to clear direction. It may seem impossible, beloved, but it is not. You are a vast being. Give yourself a chance to realize this and have patience. All is becoming, including you, according to perfect and divine design. This oracle brings specific guidance on any relationship matter requiring a decision. Until you have simple clarity in your heart, beyond the pushing away and pulling closer, then it is time to wait, for there's more yet to be revealed. Only when your heart speaks clearly, then you will do well to act as feels truthful for you. There is a beautiful silence now as I hold your hands and listen to your eyes across a span of moments called time. There are no words that say as much in Spirit's connecting, nor walls that could confine the wings of our feelings or the rhythm of our eyes. Okay, so that was pretty self-explanatory. Now we're going to go into soft, which is 47. The Seven of Cups. The sanctuary bathed in soft light. Your heart is receptive, inviting, and gentle. It brings strength to the weary, comfort to the lonely, and healing to the wounded. It is a magnet for all that is needed. For you, your beloveds, your world. Don't imagine you must always be the fighter going against the part of your nature that longs for harmony and peace. This is your time to be soft, to surrender, to let the subtle waves of the heart invite love in, and to receive. In doing so, you will give so much. This oracle brings you a message of peace. Surrender now and be soft. Even just for this moment of quiet reflection, you have perhaps been working too hard at growing and living. Take some moments to replenish and allow the divine to help you, dear one. Be soft so you're receptive to the divine. It is when we let go that we truly perceive the obstacles that lie between us and oneness with the divine lover. Let go and perceive that the divine lover is already awakening in your heart. And the poem reads, you are the softness he desires. You help light his way. You nurture all that he holds dear, though tempest clouds dismay. And in the quiet of the storm, his gentleness comes through. And in the shelter of his arms, his heart is there for you. Okay? So I'm going to leave you on that note. Whew. Rise and be loved.